The Epic of Gilgamesh. The Epic of Gilgamesh is one of the oldest literary works of Mesopotamia and a significant part of Sumerian mythology. It was written in Sumerian on clay tablets around 1800 BCE. Portraying the quest for immortality and knowledge, the Epic of Gilgamesh is the oldest known epic that has survived to the present day. The epic narrates the adventures of King Gilgamesh, who ruled the ancient city of Uruk in Mesopotamia during the first half of the 3rd millennium BCE, as he seeks immortality. Compiled from tablets written in Akkadian and Sumerian languages, only Şamaş tablets have survived to the present, leaving parts of the epic missing. Excavations in Nineveh in 1855, an ancient city in present-day northern Iraq, unearthed tablets from the library of the Assyrian King Ashurbanipal. Additional tablets were later discovered in excavations at the Turkish-Iranian border and the city of Nippur in Iraq. Some sections of the epic were also found in excavations in Sultan Tepe and Boğazköy in Turkey, although the entirety of the epic has not yet been brought to light. According to the text on these tablets, the epic begins by praising Gilgamesh's attributes. Gilgamesh, a half-human, half-god figure, is a skilled craftsman and an invincible warrior who knows everything that happens on land and sea. He views himself as superior even to the gods and is a powerful yet arrogant king. Gilgamesh's first adventure involves a conflict with the sky god Anu. Angry at Gilgamesh for his ruthless treatment of his people, Anu sends the wild man Enkidu to confront him. Enkidu, living among animals and able to communicate with them, poses a significant challenge to Gilgamesh. However, Gilgamesh devises a plan and sends a beautiful woman to Enkidu. When Enkidu succumbs to her charms, he loses his ability to communicate with animals. Subsequently, Gilgamesh confronts Enkidu, and despite their equal strength, Gilgamesh emerges victorious. Enkidu accepts his defeat, and the two become close friends and companions. As their friendship deepens, Gilgamesh and Enkidu embark on various adventures together. One day, Gilgamesh decides to go to the sacred cedar forest and kill its guardian, Humbaba. Despite Enkidu's warnings about the sacred nature of the forest, Gilgamesh proceeds with his plan. His mother opposes the plan, but she seeks the help of the sun god Şamaş to support her son. Gilgamesh and Enkidu advance towards the cedar forest. When they stop to rest, Gilgamesh falls asleep and experiences recurring nightmares. When he shares these dreams with Enkidu, his friend reassures him, interpreting the dreams positively. In the cedar forest, they encounter the giant Humbaba and engage in a fierce battle, ultimately defeating him with the assistance of the sun god Şamaş. Despite Humbaba's pitiful plea for mercy, Gilgamesh decides to kill him. They cut down a cedar tree and create a great gate for the gods. Later, the goddess Ishtar, daughter of the sky god Anu, expresses her desire to be with Gilgamesh. Rejecting her proposal, Gilgamesh cites Ishtar's mistreatment of her previous lovers. In her anger, Ishtar asks her father to send the bull of heaven to wreak havoc on the earth. When the bull arrives, Gilgamesh and Enkidu manage to defeat it without divine assistance, offering its heart to the sun god Şamaş. The city celebrates their victory, but Enkidu begins to have nightmares due to his role in killing the bull and Humbaba. In his dreams, the gods express their displeasure, leading Enkidu to curse the day he left the wild and joined civilization. However, after hearing the words of Şamaş, he regrets his curses. Şamaş warns Enkidu that if he dies, Gilgamesh will become desolate. Enkidu falls ill, and despite Gilgamesh's constant presence, he cannot cure his friend or prevent his death. Enkidu dies, and Gilgamesh mourns his friend deeply. He asks the entire city, from farmers to priests, to mourn Enkidu and orders a statue to be erected in his honor. Although Enkidu has passed away, Gilgamesh refuses to leave his side and allows his body to decay for 6 days before reluctantly permitting his burial. Enkidu's death propels Gilgamesh on a quest for immortality. Unwilling to share the fate of Enkidu, he decides to seek the advice of Utnapishtim, the only immortal being. This journey becomes a challenging and divine adventure filled with trials, interventions from the gods, and formidable struggles. Gilgamesh and his wife are the only humans who survived the Great Flood, and as a result, they have been blessed with immortality by the gods. Seeking to learn how the gods will bestow immortality upon him, Gilgamesh meets with Utnapishtim. Since the day they were blessed with immortality, Utnapishtim and his wife have not aged and live in the city of Dilmun in the east. Gilgamesh traverses mountains, rivers, wild animals, and sees to reach the city. After a long journey, Gilgamesh reaches the summit of Mount Masu, located at the end of the world. From there, he observes the sunrise from the other world. He notices a gate ahead, guarded by two creatures resembling scorpions. Approaching them, Gilgamesh states his purpose. One scorpion is male and the other is female, warning him that humans are not allowed to enter. Despite this, Gilgamesh insists on entering, and the scorpions open the gate for him. As he steps inside, the doors close, plunging the surroundings into darkness with no sight or sound. Gilgamesh continues eastward in the darkness. For days, he walks without seeing any light, hearing any sound, or feeling any wind. As he approaches, he hears the sound of a river, then feels the wind. As he progresses further, light emerges, and Gilgamesh realizes he has reached his desired destination. In this place, Gilgamesh encounters a woman who runs an inn. Initially suspicious of Gilgamesh, the woman decides to assist him after their conversation and assigns a ferryman named Uruk to help him cross watery regions on the remaining journey. One of these regions is known as the Water of Death, where anyone touching the water dies instantly. During their journey, Gilgamesh and Uruk encounter stone giants. Gilgamesh, thinking them to be enemies, wants to kill them, but Uruk assures him they are harmless, and they continue their journey. Finally, the duo arrives at the city of Dilmun. Utnapishtim, noticing someone other than Uruk on the boat, inquires about the person's identity. Gilgamesh introduces himself, recounts his story, and states his purpose. In response, Utnapishtim tells Gilgamesh that escaping death is impossible, and pondering death robs life of its daily joys. People should cherish the time they have. Gilgamesh then asks Utnapishtim how they survived the Great Flood and were blessed with immortality by the gods. Utnapishtim begins narrating the story of the flood sent by the god Enlil. Enlil, disturbed by the noise created by humans, decides to exterminate all of them. Since Enlil is the creator of humans, he does not inform other gods of his plan. Another god, learns of this plan and warns the then-human Utnapishtim about the impending disaster. Instructs Utnapishtim to build a boat, take 2 of each living creature, and preserve his family and possessions on the boat. The expected rain falls, and all creatures outside Utnapishtim's boat perish. After a while, the boat gets stuck on Mount Nisr, and everyone awaits the receding waters. Utnapishtim sends a dove on the first day, a swallow on the second, and a raven on the third. The dove and swallow return without finding a place to land, but the raven does not return. Utnapishtim understands that the raven found land and decides to move towards that direction. Enlil is angered by those who survived the flood, but other gods, upset that Enlil sent the flood without consulting them, enter into a dispute. After seeing the offerings prepared by Utnapishtim, the gods decide to join a feast and grant him immortality. However, there is one condition: Utnapishtim cannot live among the other gods. Instead, he and his wife will reside in the city of Dilmun, away from the other gods. Utnapishtim tells Gilgamesh about the event that brought the gods together and how he became the sole survivor to gain immortality. He asks Gilgamesh how he plans to achieve such an event and gather all the gods. Although Gilgamesh cannot provide an immediate answer, Utnapishtim gives him a chance. He instructs Gilgamesh to stay awake for 6 days and 7 nights without sleep. However, as soon as Utnapishtim finishes speaking, Gilgamesh falls asleep and sleeps for 7 days. Upon waking up on the 7th day, Gilgamesh is told by Utnapishtim that he has failed. Utnapishtim advises Gilgamesh to return to his city, fulfill his duties as a king, understand that not everyone is rewarded with kingship by the gods, and appreciate the value of life. At this point, Gilgamesh appears disheveled and tired, resembling anything but a king. Utnapishtim advises him to clean up, bathe in the river, and change his clothes. He imparts the lesson that immortality is a hard-earned pursuit and emphasizes the importance of appreciating life instead. Gilgamesh boards the boat to return, and after a while, Utnapishtim's wife approaches him, stating that Gilgamesh has come a long way and hasn't found what he was looking for, and at least he deserves a gift for his return journey. Upon this, Utnapishtim shows mercy to Gilgamesh and reveals a secret. There is a plant that grows at the bottom of the sea, allowing people to regain their youth. Although it doesn't grant immortality, it provides an exceptionally long life. Gilgamesh ties stones to his feet while in the boat, dives into the sea, and retrieves the plant. He then returns to the boat and continues his journey. When Gilgamesh plans to bring the plant back to his country, he considers giving it first to an old man. However, upon seeing the rejuvenation of the elderly person, he decides to keep it for himself. On his way back, he finds a lake and enters it to bathe. He places the plant beside his clothes, but a serpent comes, consumes the plant, sheds its skin, and rejuvenates. Filled with sorrow for losing the plant and missing out on a long life, Gilgamesh returns to his homeland. Accepting his mortality, Gilgamesh realizes that he will leave his kingdom and accomplishments as a lasting legacy. The epic concludes with Gilgamesh understanding the meaning of life and the true aim behind the quest for immortality, facing the bitter defeat against death. When the time comes, Gilgamesh, too, joins the realm of the dead. The people in his land mourn the loss, knowing that someone like him will never come again.